All right, we're going to dive into a single, really powerful idea about personal freedom. And it's one of those things that, once you really get it, can totally change how you move through the world.
So let me just ask you something. Right now, how many different versions of you are out there in the world? There's the you your best friend knows, the you your boss sees, and then there's the you that a complete stranger just created in their head from a 2-second interaction. Every person has a slightly different character sketch of you.
And that creates this constant, quiet pressure, doesn't it? It's this background hum of trying to manage all those different versions, trying to make sure everyone sees you correctly. Honestly, it feels like you're the publicist for your own life 24/7. It's exhausting.
But what if we've been playing the wrong game this whole time? What if the goal isn't to control every single perception, which, let's be honest, is impossible, but to find freedom from that need for control? And that's where this core idea comes in.
Here it is. Maturity is when you realize that you are not responsible for the versions of you that exist in other people's mind. Just sit with that for a second. That is a truly radical statement about personal freedom.
So, to really get the power of that quote, we've got to look a little closer at what these versions of you even are and why we have so little control over them in the first place.
Think about it like this. It's like a personal art gallery. Every single person you meet paints a portrait of you in their mind. Your boss has the work you portrait. Your parents, they might still have the kid you portrait hanging on their wall. Your partner has a version they fell in love with. And every single one of those portraits is filtered through their own life. Their biases, their hopes, their baggage.
And this is where the gap is, you see. On one side, you have your reality, all your complex intentions, your entire backstory, everything that makes you, you. But on the other side is their perception. It's just a snapshot, based on their limited view, filtered through their own personal lens. And here's the kicker. You only control the left side of this table. That's it.
So once you realize you only control your side of that equation, that brings us to the most freeing part of this whole thing. What does it really mean to release responsibility for what's on their side?
Okay, let's be super clear. Releasing responsibility is not an excuse to be a jerk. It's not about throwing your hands up and saying, "I don't care what anyone thinks," in a destructive way. No, your responsibility is to act with integrity, to be kind, to be authentic, to live by your values. What you're not responsible for is the impossible job of being the manager of someone else's internal world. Their thoughts, their feelings, their interpretations of you, that's their work, not yours.
So, what's the payoff here? What happens when you draw that line in the sand? Well, when you stop trying to manage everyone else's mind, your own world changes completely. You get to shift from a life of constant performance to a life of authenticity.
You can really see the difference here. On the left, that's the anxious mindset. It's living in fear of being misunderstood, always tweaking who you are to get approval, and feeling totally drained by the whole performance. But on the right, you've got the mature mindset. It just accepts that, hey, misinterpretation's going to happen. It guides your actions based on your own internal compass, not what you think other people want. And that's energizing, not exhausting.
And this chart just lays it out perfectly. Look where all that mental energy goes. Before, so much of it is wasted on trying to manage what other people think. But afterward, all that energy is freed up. It gets reallocated to what actually matters. Living your life, taking actions that are true to you, and building real connections.
The original source for this powerful idea is incredibly simple, actually, and it ends with a very direct, very practical piece of advice for how to actually use this in your day-to-day life. That's it. Just 3 words. Keep it in your mind. Don't think of this as some deep philosophy you have to study for years. Think of it as a tool. A mantra you can just pull out of your pocket whenever you feel that social anxiety creeping in, when you start obsessing over what someone thought of your comment. Just repeat it to yourself. So we'll leave you with this final thought. When you let go of the impossible job of managing every single version of you that exists out there, you're left with this amazing opportunity. All that energy, all that focus, it's free now to build the one version that truly matters, your own. So, now that you're not performing for an audience, who will you choose to be?